Welcome back. Obviously today we're going to start tackling the bed. We're going to talk about how to get the bedsides off of these step side beds. A fleet side bed is going to be much different. You're going to have to be, in order to take a bedside off, you're not going to be able to just take it off to repair it and put it back. That's not something that you're going to do, because a bedside on a fleet side is going to be fully welded. But these step sides have bedsides that actually just bolt on. They're, just pull out, I don't know, there's about 15 or 20 bolts maybe, and my bedside is off. It's going to be really simple since we've got the bed up on the stand. That's going to make it so we've got have access all the way around that bedside. Now there's going to be several reasons why we're going to take it off. One is just for the ease of it. We can put it up on a stand sideways or whatever we want to do. We can have better, easier access to the backside for our repairs, because we've got some broken fiberglass, we've got some holes, and we've got some things like that. And so we're going to want to have access to both sides to be able to reinforce that and make sure that we've got good strength so that it's not breaking out again, it's not causing problems down the line. We're going to have a repair that's as good or better than new. The other thing is the shell of this bed is steel, so we're going to have some access to repairing some of this upper rail on both sides. We'll walk through some of that body work process, and we're going to have access to places that we wouldn't have had access to with the bedsides on. The other thing, guys, you can see between the metal and the bedside there's that seam. That's going to be very, very hard to properly prepare for paint and to get paint to stick down in the very bottom edge of that. And if once paint starts to peel out of there, you've basically wasted all the energy that you put in up to this point, because you're going to have to undo all that in order to fix those things later. We don't want to do that. We want to do it right the first time. Again, with your budget, guys, this is the stuff now that's important, because you don't want to have to spend your same money twice. So we want to be able to keep going and moving forward, but we want to do a good product as we're going along. But there's going to be a row of bolts. Once it's off the truck like this, there's a row of bolts up the front that are very obvious. There's a row of bolts in the tail light area that are, once the tail lights are out, they're very obvious. There's also a row, you can kind of see in the camera, a row of bolts across here that'll be in from the inside of the bed here, but then there's also going to be a row of bolts up the inside, just under that edge right there, coming up from the inside. And then there's going to be a couple bolts holding I just call them strut rods. They just kind of hold the wheel opening bottoms down there. We'll pull those out, and pretty soon the bedside will be laying on the floor, guys. I mean, it's really about a 10-minute process to get these bedsides off once you've got the bed accessible like this. So it really doesn't make good sense. Oh, and there's a couple under the step pads. I forgot about those. We'll get to those too. But it really doesn't make sense to get this far into a project like this and not take that time and pull those off of there. Because the other thing we're going to have is up under between your metal and your fiberglass, there's going to be a lot of dust. It's going to be really fine stuff. Unless it's been just absolutely a pavement queen and sat in somebody's garage its whole life, which this one's anything but that, we're going to have a bunch of dirt and crap up underneath there. And you can blow and blow and blow trying to prep, and there will still be more come out when it's time to paint. When you blow your paint gun across it, for whatever reason, any dust that's in there is going to find its way out. It's going to land in the top of your bedside, and you're not going to be happy. So we're just going to take this apart, and that way we can clean it up really well. We can put some coatings on the inside of the bed and the bedside, because the fiberglass bedsides, are known to get a rock chip in them, and what that'll do is it'll actually star out from the outside. You'll see it'll look like a little spider in your fiberglass, and that's your paint finish is cracked. And we're gonna fix some of those, and we're gonna put something inside to try to minimize some of that. Because this is gonna be a used pickup, guys. We're gonna use it. We're gonna put it on gravel roads. We're gonna do whatever we need to do with it. We're gonna have some fun with it. That's what we're looking for, is just something cool that we can be proud of, but also something that we can go out and have fun in and enjoy and use and put back to work. Enough of this. Let's get into it a little bit and talk more and keep moving down the line. First of all, guys, the bed cart. Got the bed up on the cart. You can see how it sits here on both sides. You can see up underneath how it's sitting on that cart there. And it's really easy to move around. I just grab it, push it, move it, drag it wherever I want in the shop. Makes it really easy to get around it. That's all the way across the front. I can get, with it off the truck, I have access up under here. I don't have a wheel in my way. I don't have any of that. And I can get all the way around it. And it just makes everything a lot easier when we're trying to do this repair, to not have the rest of the truck around it basically and in the way. Just makes a big difference. So anyways, these are going to be the 4 bolts here that are in the front. We'll also have to pop these step pads up. Those we'll use a clip tool and get under and pry those up. Those will pop out pretty easy. At some point we'll take the fuel door out of it, but that's not really necessary. It's not tied to anything but the bedside, so we can do that after we get the bedside off, easy enough. These are going to be the strut rods that hold your lower bedsides. So there's just 1 bolt head right there in the bottom, front and rear. And then more bolts under the rear step. Same process as the front. Then we got 3 in that taillight pocket that we'll have to pull out. Then across the inside, and these are going to be Torx. And I can tell you in a minute what size those are. But then there's also going to be a row coming in this direction. There's going to be, I think, about 7 coming straight up from the bottom. And those are going to be the ones that are going to have a bunch of dirt and crap in them. And it's going to be in your face. And you can see, guys, the floor underneath this right now is swept up. It's not going to look like that in a couple minutes. So I'm going to turn the camera off here for a second and pull some of these bolts out, and then we'll pick it back up in a second. Okay guys, there it is. I mean, it really, real time was less than 10 minutes to get that bedside off. Look at all this crap. This is all the stuff that's in there. You're never going to get that out with that bedside still on there. That is just crazy. And guys, this is actually the cleaner side. This is exactly how I set it down. That doesn't look bad. This is the right hand bedside. Look at this. All that mud. You're never going to get that out of there with that bedside still attached to that pickup. It's just not going to happen. So, taking a few minutes to take these off, guys, that's going to save hours of trying to wash up under there. And you're still never going to get it as clean as we'll be able to get it. This is the inside of the right side. As it is, we're going to have access clear up under here. Be able to clean all that out and be able to fix some rail damage and be a lot easier. So 20 minutes total, guys. We got both bedsides off. Time well spent as far as I'm concerned. Now we're going to get started cleaning up these rails. I don't know if you can tell. See if I can get it or not. There's a pretty good dent right here. It's really hard to show up in the camera. You can kind of see it right out in front of my finger. It's hard to get the camera on, but we'll be able to hammer and dolly that out and not have to be near as invasive either with this repair. That's probably your best shot of it. Really hard to see in here with this light, but with the camera, but in person, guys, that's a pretty good little dent we're going to be able to have full access to. Knock it out and get this cleaned up. Making progress. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up today. Just getting those bedsides off, and then you saw me clean up the floor. That's important. Keep a clean shop. It'll help your attitude when you walk in next time. You'll be able to see where you're at and what you're doing, and you know all your tools are put away. You know where everything's at. The floor's clean. Those things are just little steps to make you feel better about the product as you're going. Keep your mind in it and keep going. It's a nice way to wind down your time too, is just kind of put things away and reorganize and reevaluate where you're at, and you know, make mental notes of where you're at and what you're doing. And next thing we need to do is pressure wash everything underneath, get all this mud and sand and crap out underneath there. So I'll do that when the weather clears up a little bit. It should be nice in a couple days. So get under there and get that stuff all cleaned up. We want to do anything like that before we break this existing finish, because once we got bare metal and bare filler and things on there, guys, we're not going to want to get any of that wet. So we're going to do that stuff beforehand, get everything cleaned up and all our pre-work done, so that once we get into that, we can just go. That'll make everything fly a lot easier. Another thing, if you guys can go like and subscribe to the channel, that's great. It would help me out a lot and let me know kind of more what's going on. And you know, if there's certain things you want me to be a little more detailed about or something like that, just let me know. We can work through this thing together, and I'm here to try to help you guys. Like I said, this is something I've done for a long time. I know these pickups pretty well. These are what was out when I started into the industry, so I've worked on them my entire career, honestly. And so if there's anything you guys are curious about or want to see more of or or just have questions, or just want to chat about your project and let me know what you got going on, be more than happy to do that too. So just be in touch, and like I said, like and subscribe to the page. That goes a long ways. So it's going to do it for now. So go find a project, get nerdy.